Your parents bought a house. Their parents bought a house. The expectation passed down like furniture. Grow up, get a job, buy land, build a life. But Statistics Canada just released data that tells a different story. Millennials aged 25 to 39 own homes at nearly 8 to 13 percentage points lower rates than baby boomers did at the exact same age. That's not opinion, that's census data. 16.3% of millennials in that age bracket, 1 in 6, live with their parents. That's nearly double the rate of boomers at the same stage of life. Only 21% of Gen Z currently own any property in Canada. 21. Meanwhile, the national average home price as of April 2026, according to the Canadian Real Estate Association, is $695,412. In Ontario, $839,000. So here's the question nobody in power is asking out loud. If the system that worked for your parents no longer works for you, whose fault is it that you haven't found a different system? Because a different system exists, it's just not in the cities. This is not a video about giving up. This is a video about a map that most people haven't seen. 10 places in Canada, 10 places where land costs between $0 and $10, 10 places that are desperate for someone exactly like you to show up. Let's look at the map.
Cochrane, Ontario, the mining boomtown that needs bodies. Price, $10. Here's a question the Toronto real estate industry will never ask you. What if the next boom isn't where everyone already is? Cochrane, Ontario, 8 hours north of Toronto, population around 5,000. The kind of place that people in southern Ontario picture when they think of somewhere I would never live. Now here's what they're missing. The second largest gold mine in North America operates in this region. According to Mayor Peter Politis, confirmed across multiple verified media interviews, a major new base metal mine between Cochrane and Timmins is projected to come online around 2027, with a potential requirement of over 1,000 new employees. Those are not minimum wage jobs. Mining pays well, and those workers need somewhere to live. But here's the part that breaks people's brains when they hear it for the first time. Cochrane owns hundreds of vacant residential lots that would be worth $20,000 to $40,000 on the open market, and the town council voted to sell them for $10. $10! Over 4,000 people and developers, including international inquiries, flooded the town with interest. That number is confirmed across CTV News, Daily Hive, and Northern Ontario Business. How it works. Serviced lots, water, sewer, road access already connected, go to individuals who can prove they have the financial means to build within a set time frame. There's a 5-year property tax rebate built into the program. There's a Habitat for Humanity partnership exploring high-density options. This isn't a handout with no plan behind it. What people glossing over this story always skip. The commute from Timmins to Cochrane is shorter than crossing Toronto in rush hour. Mayor Politis has said that publicly, and it's verifiable. The town has free downtown Wi-Fi, a public bike share, and the Cochrane Polar Bear Habitat, live polar bears, that draws genuine tourism traffic. And while everyone in southern Ontario is sharing mortgage horror stories at brunch, someone in Cochrane is about to build a house on a $10 lot, work a job that pays 6 figures in resource extraction, and walk to everything in 5 minutes. The honest part, it's 760 kilometers north of Toronto. January temperatures regularly hit -30. Specialist healthcare means a drive to Timmins. This is not a place for someone who wants urban life with a rural price tag. It's a place for someone who wants a genuinely different life. Status in 2026. The program was moving through its Community Improvement Plan framework as of late 2024. Verify current availability directly at cochrane.ca before making any decisions. 2. Reston, Pipestone, and Sinclair, Manitoba, the 3 towns that figured it out first. Price? $10. Most cheap land stories are announcements. This one is a track record. The rural municipality of Pipestone in southwestern Manitoba has been running a $10 lot program long enough that they have results to show you. Not projections, results. The CBC documented it. The Economic Development Officer, Tanis Chalmers, confirmed it directly. Roughly 20 new homes built in Reston alone over a 2-year stretch. A 10% population increase in a town of 500 people. New children enrolled in school.
a licensed childcare center that didn't exist before the program, an after-school program. These things happened because the land was $10.
Here's what the official program page at rmoofpipestone.com actually says, and you can verify this yourself right now. Pay $10 for the lot, put down a $1,000 refundable deposit, build within the agreement terms, get $990 back. Their program contact email is literally $10 lots at rmoofpipestone.com. That's how committed they are to this. But the number that makes people stop scrolling every time they hear it is the business incentive. Up to $32,000 in grants for opening a new business. Confirmed, documented, real. The program now covers 3 communities: Reston, Pipestone, and Sinclair. 3 different towns, same offer. Think about what $32,000 means for someone who wants to open a cafe, a trades business, a repair shop, a childcare operation. You're not getting a loan, you're getting money. In a town where your commercial real estate essentially costs nothing. What you're trading for this? Brandon, Manitoba is your nearest real city at about 90 minutes. Winnipeg is 3.5 hours, longer than many sources claim, so now you know. Winters are long, flat, and windy in ways prairie people describe and everyone else underestimates. If you need urban energy to feel alive, this isn't your answer. If you need space, quiet, and a real financial head start, the math here is genuinely hard to argue with. 3. Scarth, Manitoba, the town that disappeared and might come back. This location is not a struggling small town. It's a ghost town. Population 0. Scarth, Manitoba, a 15-minute drive south of Verdun. Settlers arrived in 1882. The railway came through in 1907. A general store, a post office, a school. Then, silence. The school closed in 1964. The post office in 1978. Today there is a baseball diamond no one uses, a few gravel roads lined with light standards, a commemorative stone cairn, and a community center where neighboring towns occasionally gather for suppers. No one lives there. The rural municipality of Pipestone, the same municipality behind Reston's $10 program, subdivided a section of Scarth's remaining land into roughly a dozen lots. Price? $10 each. The condition? You build. Let that sit for a moment. You could be among the first people to actually live in Scarth since the 1970s. Not moving to a small town. Building a community from nothing. Verdun is 15 minutes away for actual services. The region sits in Manitoba's oil patch, which means employment options exist nearby. But Scarth itself is a blank slate, and blank slates are either terrifying or exciting depending entirely on who you are. This is the most extreme option on this entire list. There are no neighbors because there are none. There's no community infrastructure because it hasn't been rebuilt yet. What you'd be signing up for is genuine pioneering, the kind that either becomes the best story you've ever lived or the most expensive lesson you've ever learned. Contact the RM of Pipestone directly to confirm lot availability. 4. Craik, Saskatchewan, the eco-village hidden between 2 cities. Price $1. Craik has a geography advantage that its competitors don't. Sit on Highway 11 between Regina and Saskatoon, 2 of Saskatchewan's major cities, both with international airports, and you are not isolated. You are 60 minutes from Regina. You have real city access when you need it, and wide open space and a $1 lot when you don't.
The town began offering vacant lots for $1 to applicants who commit to building within 2 years. And these aren't bare earth lots. Water, sewer, road access, and electricity hookups are already in the ground. The hard infrastructure is done. You show up and build. But Craik has something that makes it a fundamentally different conversation from every other entry on this list: the Craik Eco-Village, a cluster of homes built around environmental intelligence, ICF block foundations, metal roofs, in-floor heating, not experimental shacks, deliberately designed, energy-efficient homes that function beautifully in Saskatchewan winters and currently list on MLS at prices ranging from $49,000 to roughly $194,000. Read that back. $49,000 for a house. Craik attracts a specific kind of person, self-directed, sustainability-minded, not someone who ran away from something, but someone who ran towards something.
That creates a community dynamic that defies the lonely rural stereotype. The people there are interesting, and when your neighbors are interesting, the isolation doesn't feel like isolation anymore. Cell coverage is improving, but check your carrier. High-speed internet is not universally guaranteed. Research your specific plot before committing if remote work is your income. Main Street is quiet. You will drive for groceries. 5. Cupar, Saskatchewan. The 30-year open invitation nobody RSVP'd to. Price, $1. Here's a data point worth sitting with. Cupar, Saskatchewan has reportedly been offering $1 lots since the early 1990s. That's over 3 decades, and somehow most Canadians have never heard of it. Either the program keeps refilling because it keeps working, or there genuinely haven't been enough takers, and both possibilities contain an opportunity for the right person reading this right now. About an hour northeast of Regina, population around 400, rolling prairie landscape. The program has historically included free municipal taxes and water for the first year after purchase, a buffer that meaningfully reduces your first-year cost of settlement. The process is straightforward. Apply at the local government office, demonstrate residency, receive approval. No auction, no bidding war, no investor competing against you with all cash.
What makes Cupar different from Craik? No eco-village story, no distinctive community hook. What it has is longevity and simplicity. The offer has been standing longer than some of the people reading this have been alive. Small programs in prairie towns often run quietly and don't maintain strong online presence. Call the Cupar town office directly. Confirm current availability, current conditions, current timelines. This is non-negotiable before you make any decision. 6. McAdam, New Brunswick. The dollar lot that woke up a railway ghost. Price, $1, original program. Active real estate market remains. Here's what a single $1 lot can actually do. McAdam, New Brunswick, former railway town, population about 1150. The McAdam Railway Station, built in 1900, is a designated national and provincial historic site, evidence that this town once mattered at a national level. As rail traffic collapsed, so did McAdam. Then, in 2018, the village council cleared 16 abandoned lots, serviced them, and sold each one for $1. The response? Over 600 inquiries from across Canada and internationally, confirmed by Mayor Ken Stanix in CBC interviews. 14 of the 16 lots sold. But watch what happened next. By 2020, according to CBC follow-up reporting, roughly 90 homes had sold across the wider McAdam area. Not 16, 90. The $1 lots didn't just sell land, they created a story. And the story attracted people who hadn't even heard about the lots, just heard about the town. New businesses opened, the population grew. One couple, Adam and Jess Bronson, sold their Montreal home within 2 days of learning about McAdam. They never bought a $1 lot. They bought a 5-bedroom house for under $50,000. The $1 program pulled them in, the real estate market converted them. That's the actual lesson of McAdam. The dollar lots are gone, but the momentum they created is not. And houses in McAdam, at prices that would make urban Canadians double-check the listing, are still available right now. The railway station draws up to 30,000 visitors a year, according to local accounts. If you have any instinct toward tourism, hospitality, or heritage-related business, this town has a built-in draw that most affordable communities don't. The honest picture? 1 hour from Fredericton, closer to Vanceboro, Maine than to any shopping mall. New Brunswick winters are real. Services are limited. But if the idea of being in a community that is actively, genuinely trying to rebuild itself appeals to you, McAdam has that energy right now. St. Louis-de-Blandford, Quebec. The town that gave away 40 lots and grew 6.4% from 6.4%. Price? Effectively $0, refundable $1,000 deposit. The English language internet mostly ignores this town. That's your advantage. St. Louis-de-Blandford, Centre-du-Quebec region. About an hour southwest of Quebec City. Population 1,076 as of the 2021 census, up 6.4% from 2016. That growth is not a coincidence. In 2013, the town purchased land, subdivided it into 40 lots, and gave them away. The conditions? Put down a $1,000 deposit and commit to building a home worth at least $125,000 within 1 year. Build it, and the full deposit comes back. Your net land cost? $0. This isn't a new program floated in a press release. This is a program with a decade of documented results. Mayor Gilles Marchand described it plainly in a Canadian press interview.
The problem faced by towns of our size is devitalization that happens quietly as young people move to cities. We figured this will be an incentive for the young and the less young who want to put their money toward home building. One resident who took the deal, Christian Martin, received a 5,500 square foot lot, big enough that he excavated a lake on his property before building his home. He told the Canadian press, in a city, just the land would have cost as much as the entire house. All 40 original lots were spoken for, and the town was planning additional phases, per CBC reporting. The region is surrounded by cranberry bogs. Most of cranberry production happens here, and maple forest. This is not prairie flat. It's river valley and trees and seasons that look like a painting. The thing you must know going in, St. Louis-de-Blandford is a French-speaking community. If you don't speak French, daily life in a small francophone town will be genuinely difficult. This is not a con, it's a fact. For bilingual Canadians or committed French learners, this is an extraordinary deal within driving distance of Quebec City. Know yourself before you apply.
8. Mundare, Alberta, 45 minutes east of Edmonton, the world's largest sausage optional. Price $1 to $10 depending on lot type. Let's put Mundare's location in context. In Edmonton right now, the average home price is pushing toward $400,000 and climbing. In Calgary, it's over $500,000. A basic residential lot in a standard Alberta suburb, just dirt, no house, can run 6 figures before you've poured a single foundation. Mundare, Alberta is 45 minutes east of Edmonton on the Yellowhead Highway. The town made headlines for selling commercial lots on Main Street for $1 each. The conditions? Development permit, construction started within 1 year, project completed within the following year. A real estate office opened. A licensed childcare center, something the town desperately needed, was built. The original commercial lots sold out and a wait list formed. Here's what the 2026 picture looks like. Mundare's population has reached roughly 875 people, up about 11.5% over 5 years. While the original $1 commercial lots are gone, the town still uses land incentive structures for surplus commercial and residential land for people ready to build immediately. The program evolved. The opportunity didn't disappear. And yes, the world's largest Ukrainian sausage statue is there, 12 meters tall. It's a real thing, and it draws real visitors, which matters if you're thinking about tourism-adjacent business. You are 45 minutes from a major Canadian city with a full international airport. Edmonton has hospitals, universities, every chain and independent business you'd want access to. Mundare gives you Alberta land prices from a different era, with Edmonton as your safety net when you need it. Be real about this. The best lots are gone. You're applying for what remains and potentially waiting. A town of 875 limits your local customer base if you're building a business. You need remote income, a commuter-compatible job, or a business model that reaches beyond Mundare itself. 9. South Knowlesville, New Brunswick. The free land with terms and conditions you actually need to read. Price $0, under a community land trust model. Stop. Before you get excited about the price, read this section to the end. South Knowlesville is in western New Brunswick, in the Appalachian foothills outside Heartland. Around 2010, a couple named Tegan and Leland Wong Darty bought 130 acres of forest, field, and wetland for $130,000, built a straw bale home, and then made a decision that almost no landowner in Canada makes. They gave the rest away. Through the South Knowlesville Community Land Trust, they offer 2.5-acre plots at no cost. The community grew from 7 original neighbors to roughly 70 people over 16 years, according to the NB Media Co-op. People came from across Canada and internationally. There's a community-run school. Now, here's what you are actually agreeing to. You do not own the land. The trust holds the title. You live on it, farm it, build on it, but it stays collective property. You must live in the community for 1 full year before receiving your plot to verify the fit. All decisions operate by consensus, meaning nothing moves forward unless everyone agrees. The founder has said publicly, community living requires a tolerance for human complexity that not everyone possesses. One visitor from Ontario described it to CBC this way: needing unanimous agreement before doing anything is not easy. This isn't a criticism of the model. It works. 70 people chose it and stayed, but it requires a very specific kind of person. Someone who finds deep community more valuable than individual sovereignty, who can genuinely practice consensus, and who has the practical skills for off-grid life in a short growing season with long blackfly seasons. If that's you,
this might be the most interesting community in this entire video. If that's not you, the next 30 seconds you spend applying is time you're wasting, and so is theirs. 10. Yukon Crown Agricultural Land. Canada is giving away frontier land. There's a 7-year catch. Price, owned through development, effectively $0. Verified, Yukon Department of Energy, Mines and Resources, Thomson Reuters Foundation, Yukon Agricultural Association, confirmed government official quotes. We're ending with the biggest offer on this list, and the most demanding one. Through its agricultural land program, the Yukon government offers undeveloped crown land, parcels ranging from roughly 15 to over 160 acres, to Canadian citizens and permanent residents who commit to farming it. Here's the spot land program, straight from government documentation. You must have lived in the Yukon for at least 1 year. You identify a parcel more than 100 kilometers from a municipality, between 6 and 65 hectares in size. You submit an application with a farm development plan. Agriculture officials assess soil viability. If approved, you sign a 7-year agreement. During those 7 years, you developed land, clear forest, build access roads, improve soil. The program uses a 1-for-1 equity model. For every verified dollar of development work you complete, that value counts toward the purchase price of the land. Meet your targets by year 7 and the title is yours.
A government official confirmed to the Thomson Reuters Foundation that the Yukon had allocated nearly 8,000 acres through this program over the preceding decade, roughly 10 new parcels per year. The Yukon Agricultural Association documents nearly 40,000 acres allocated over more than 40 years of the program's history. Here's what the official from the Yukon's agriculture branch has actually said about calling this land free. They push back on that framing. You pay through 7 years of hard labor in subarctic conditions. That is the price. Growing seasons are brutally short. Planting after June 1st, frost risk in any month. January averages well below minus 20 degrees Celsius. The land you're receiving is wild forested terrain rated Class 5 agricultural soil, which means severe limitations. Southern Canadian farming happens on Class 3 or better. But the advantages are real and underreported. Yukon summers stretch to roughly 20 hours of daylight. Crops grow fast when the sun won't go down. According to a 2016 Canadian study, average Yukon temperatures have risen about 2 degrees Celsius over 50 years, more than twice the global average. Farmers are growing vegetables, raising livestock, and testing crops that weren't viable a generation ago. The Whitehorse Farmers Market exists. Community-supported agriculture programs exist. Restaurants are actively paying premium prices for local produce because the alternative is shipping everything by road at enormous cost. The Planned Land program offers a parallel track, pre-surveyed lots within 100 kilometers of a municipality, competitive application, some upfront development costs, land itself effectively free. This is not for hobbyists, dreamers, or anyone whose plan stops at the land application. You need capital, experience, physical capacity, and 7 years of commitment before the title is yours. But if you've ever wanted to build something from completely raw land in one of the most visually extraordinary places on Earth, the Yukon is the only place in Canada where that's a functioning government program right now. The real math nobody does. Let's go back to where we started. Statistics Canada tells us that millennials own homes at nearly 8 to 13 percentage points lower rates than their parents did at the same age. Gen Z homeownership sits at 21%. Delayed buying creates a lifetime wealth gap of $300,000 or more, according to Wealthnorth research tracking the compound effects of delayed equity building. And the national average price, confirmed by CREA in April 2026, sits at $695,412. That is the system most people are trying to navigate.
And in the same country, in the same year, there are towns offering land for $10, for $1, for nothing, attached to real communities with real schools and real economic activity, begging someone to show up. These aren't consolation prizes for people who couldn't hack it in the city. Some of the most deliberately designed, purposeful communities in Canada are in this video. Some of the highest paying blue-collar employment in this country is next door to a $10 lot in Northern Ontario. There is no version of this story where the right choice is obvious for everyone. Every one of these 10 places will be the wrong choice for most people watching this. The cold is real, the distance is real, the trade-offs are real. But there is also no version of this story where continuing to lose the housing game in a city that was built for your grandparents' income is the only option. The map exists. Now you've seen it. Every program and location in this video has been verified against primary sources. CTV News, CBC News, the RM of Pipestone's own official website, Statistics Canada census data, the Canadian Real Estate Association,
the Yukon government's official program documentation, Thomson Reuters Foundation, and NB Media Co-op. Full source list in the description. Call the towns. Visit before you commit. Ask the uncomfortable questions about internet infrastructure, healthcare distance, and what winter actually costs you. These communities would rather have one person who did the research than 100 who didn't. Which of these 10 are you actually considering? Tell us in the comments. And if someone you know has given up on owning land in Canada, send them this. Not because it's easy, because it's real.